Hey everyone, I'm Dale Swanton with the Dan Heck team, your source for all things real estate. So welcome back to the final part of our three-part video series answering the most commonly asked first-time home buyer questions. Now today we're going to talk about things like closing costs, mortgage insurance, inspections, and hand money, so stay tuned. All right, guys, so before I get into this, just a couple of quick disclaimers. I am not an attorney, so nothing I say should be construed as legal advice. Also, you should know that real estate laws and customs do differ from state to state, so if you're outside of the Western Pennsylvania area, then I absolutely recommend that you speak to a local agent in your market. All right, so last time we left off at question 8, so this will be question number 9, is what other costs will I have? So we talked a little bit about down payments in part 2, which if you recall, really depends on the type of loan that you're getting, at least the minimum down payment depends on that. Now, in addition to the down payment, you're gonna have a variety of closing costs which include things related to your mortgage, for example, loan origination fees, appraisal fees, your title search, title insurance costs, inspections, and transfer tax. Now, if you're getting a mortgage, your lender might also require you to escrow up to a year's worth of property taxes. Now, I'll go into some greater detail on some of these things in a future video, but for right now, it's okay if you don't understand what all of those things are right this minute. But what is important is to understand that some of these costs can vary quite a bit depending on the particular property that you're looking at. So it's really important that you speak to your lender or your realtor and have them give you a detailed cost estimate, which is going to break down everything and give you an idea of what the total cash needed is to close, as well as what your monthly payments are going to be. And just to give you an idea of what I mean, in most areas of Western Pennsylvania, if you take the transfer tax, the buyer's share of transfer tax is 1% of the purchase price. But in the city of Pittsburgh, for example, the buyer's share is 2.5%. So that by itself is a 1.5% difference in closing costs. So again, it's very house specific. Now, if you want like a really quick and dirty method to kind of estimate what your closing costs are going to be, they're roughly between 5 to 7% of the sale price if you're getting a mortgage, and closer to 3 to 4% if you're paying cash. So you can certainly use those numbers as a rough estimate, but again, you're much better off getting a more detailed estimate that is specific to the particular property that you're looking to make an offer on. Okay, so question number 10 is how do I know if there's any defects with the home that I'm buying? Now that's a great question. So you should know that there is always an element of risk when buying a home. Houses are very, very complex structures, and while it may not, you may not be aware of every single issue prior to moving in, we make every effort to help you make an informed decision. So with few exceptions, Pennsylvania law requires that sellers disclose any known material defects with the home to potential buyers. And most states have similar laws in place. Now, a material defect is defined as any condition that would have a significant adverse impact on the value of the property. These conditions are described in a document called a seller's disclosure statement that you will be able to review prior to making your offer. Now, after your offer is accepted, you also have the opportunity to conduct a thorough home inspection by hiring an experienced home inspector, and that can sometimes help to uncover additional issues that maybe the seller was not aware of. Now, after the inspection, you're typically given the opportunity to negotiate some repairs or a price reduction for any of the items that were discovered during that home inspection process. You're also able to typically back out of the deal if there's something in there that you don't like. Now, keep in mind that home inspections are typically non-invasive, so you're not going to know what's going on like inside the walls or things like that. So there's always going to be that element of the unknown there. But again, we do everything that we can to try to minimize those risks for the buyers so that they are fully informed about what they're purchasing. All right, so question number 11 is, what is hand money or earnest money? Now, hand money, sometimes it's called earnest money. It's also called a good faith deposit. It's all the same thing. It's a small deposit that you'll put down once your offer gets accepted. Now, this deposit helps show the seller that you're serious about purchasing their home. So typically, the more hand money you put down, the stronger your offer is going to appear. Now, in many ways, hand money is simply like an upfront deposit. It gets deducted from the total amount that you owe once you get to the closing table. However, it also serves to show the seller that you do have some skin in the game. Because if you back out of the deal prior to closing, you might be forced to forfeit some or all of that hand money to the seller as compensation for like tying up their home, kind of wasting their time kind of thing. Now, whether or not you have to give that up will depend on your reasons for backing out and the specific contingencies that you've elected in the contract. So prior to making an offer, be sure that you understand which situations will allow you to back out of the deal without having to give that up and which ones do not. Now, typically, inspections, mortgage, appraisal are all common contingencies that can be elected in a contract to help protect you from having to give up that hand money. Now, you may be wondering how much hand money you need to put down, and there's really no right or wrong answer to that. It really just depends on, the sale price, what the buyer and the seller can agree to. Now, that being said, in practice, I typically see hand money that's somewhere in the range of 1% to 2% of the purchase price. So if you're buying a house that's, say, $300,000, something in the $3,000 to $6,000 range is going to be pretty typical. But again, there's no standard there, so you should absolutely be discussing that with your agent to find out what's really appropriate for that situation. All right, so question 12 is, what is mortgage insurance, or PMI/MIP? So whenever we talk about mortgages, it's important to remember that lenders are in the risk reduction business, meaning that whether or not you qualify for the loan, what the terms are, it all depends on how risky of a borrower you are in the eyes of the lender. Now, mortgage insurance is one of the ways the lender attempts to minimize their risk. And it's exactly like it sounds. It's an insurance policy that compensates the lender for their losses in the event that you default on your mortgage. Now, not everybody is required to purchase mortgage insurance. Like so many things, it's dependent on the type of loan that you're getting and how much you're putting down. Now, if you qualify for a VA loan, one of the many benefits to that is that you do not have to pay mortgage insurance. You're exempt from that requirement, which is awesome. Now, if you're getting an FHA loan, you are required to pay both an upfront mortgage insurance premium, or MIP, and a yearly premium that just gets rolled into your monthly payments. Also, with FHA loans, that MIP is paid for the life of the loan. The only way that you can remove it is if you either pay off your loan or you just refinance to another type of loan. If you're getting a conventional loan, whether or not you pay mortgage insurance depends on how much you put down. So if you're putting less than 20% down, you will be required to purchase what's called private mortgage insurance, or PMI. However, unlike FHA loans, you are able to get that removed once you get 20% equity in the property. So if you recall from, I think it was part 2 video, I mentioned that typically FHA loans are more expensive over the life of the loan, and the requirement of mortgage insurance is one of the reasons for that. So that's it for part 3, guys. Really appreciate you watching. If you like this video, go ahead, hit the like button and the subscribe button below. And as always, thanks so much for watching.